Like many of you, I saw what happened last night. I didn't see it live, but I was getting text messages from friends that were like, "Are you watching the game?" And I was like, "No, the Packers aren't playing. Why would I watch it? It's got no playoff implications for the Packers." I know many of you don't care about sports ball, and I 100% respect that. And the NFL has done just about everything it can to run off its normal fans. Yet I remain because it's one of my few vices. Now, last night during live action play, one of the Buffalo Bills players, a DB, Damar Hamlin, suffered cardiac arrest following a collision on the field. So, of course, immediately everyone deployed to politicize it. Now, I'm going to probably look. If you're upset by my take, I ask maybe hear me out. Feel free to disagree. That's what I appreciate about my viewers. You all are happy to disagree with me. Look, I don't know what happened to him. Here's what I do know, and I'm going to lay it out right in chapter and verse. For those people that think it's related to the poke, even if that were true, do you think they'll ever tell you? Of course not. They'll never say that. What I do know, though, is there are other cases of the other thing people are posting. You may have seen the NPC update. I even had a small update myself of this thing called commotio cordis, which essentially happens when during your heart's beat cycle at one specific spot, if you get like a blunt force trauma to that spot, it can send you into cardiac arrest. It's a real thing. It's happened to athletes in the past, and I will show you that. And then we will discuss other things, riskier things. This is the prevailing mainstream definition or expectation of what happened to Damar Hamlin. This is the kind of the beat of your heart, one cycle of a beat of your heart, okay? You have your P wave, then you have your QRS complex wave, and then your T wave. What happens is if you get like a strong, it's happened in the past with baseballs, it's happened in the past with hockey pucks, it's happened in the past, I think, with tennis balls. In this orange line, as it's converting from the S wave back up to the T, if you get that trauma, it can trigger cardiac arrest. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying this is my understanding of commotio cordis as a non-doctor, but as somebody who spent some time researching it last night. So essentially, as your heart pumps, there's one moment, essentially, of vulnerability. It's like a D&D game. And if this exact moment, I mean, a golf ball could probably cause it, right? To everyone that says it's never happened before, it's happened numerous times in the past. Here's an article. The tragedy on Arizona Diamond, a 13-year-old youth baseball player passed away after being struck by a pitched ball in the chest. And Thomas said, commotio cordis is believed to be the electrical event when it occurs when a ball hits the right place during the movement. This is obviously long before the poke ever existed. In fact, I'm not actually I can't say that. I'm not sure if this is dated or not. But this is like February 27th, 2012. So this is before that ever existed. So this has existed, of course. If you remember Chris Pronger from the NHL, happened to him in 1998. So everyone who says they've never seen it before, it's never happened before, I mean, a simple Google search, I could pull up half a dozen athletes that it's happened to. Okay, Chris Pronger suffered commotio cordis after taking a slap shot to the chest in 1998. Okay, it happened. Do we know if that's what happened to Damar Hamlin? No. What we do know is he was involved in a collision, a tackle. It wasn't like he had the ball and he fell on the ball, so you had like this kind of pointed point to push in. But what we do know is this morning, the Hamlin family issued a statement saying, on behalf of our family, we want to express our sincere gratitude for the love and support shown to Damar during this challenging time. We are deeply moved by the prayers and kind words and donations from fans around the country. We'll get to that too. We also want to acknowledge that the dedicated first responders and healthcare professionals at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center who have provided exceptional care to Damar. We feel so blessed. Thank you, Hamlin family. Now, In terms of outside of, unless you're at the hospital, there are few places on earth to have a health emergency better than an NFL playing field. They have obviously access to the best doctors, seconds away from you, police escorts to the ER, and you have basically your best chance. Now, to the more curious side of it, okay? We all know, people have asked questions. If you look at this article, right? Charlie Walker back in November 2021. This is after everyone was kind of poked up. Leading cardiologist says footballers should not panic after 5 high-profile collapses, but insists all players need to be checked through their 20s and 30s. That's a lot of super athletes collapsing on the football field, soccer field for Americans. You have a spat of high-profile heart problems and collapses among professional athletes in recent weeks are likely to be coincidences, rather than an indication of players are struggling to cope with the high-intensity game, according to a leading cardiologist. I mean, I don't know. These things happen. People absorb this stuff. It becomes, part of our memory. And so every time another one happens, people are like, what's going on here? The article literally used my, hold on. Coincidence. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't say it isn't, but it's a lot of super fit athletes dropping like flies. So last night when this happened to Hamlin, people were asking questions immediately. We know that the NFL has extremely strict poke rules. I don't know his status, by the way. There are players in the NFL who have not taken it. So I want to point that out too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, for example, high-profile player that never took it. Cole Beasley, another high-profile wide receiver, used to be probably, never took it. There are players in the NFL more than you think that did not take it. So we don't know if he did or didn't. All right. I'm just trying to be objective here. I think the easy thing to do is make posts like Charlie Kirk did, where he just says, this is a tragic and all too familiar sight right now. Athletes dropping suddenly. Like, he's implying that it's from the poke. Okay, obviously. Obviously. Maybe it is. I don't know. But I'm making this video because I just think that, like, gosh, I even tweeted it out earlier in the day, where you just kind of, it's getting frustrating that these things are getting politicized. It's basically like, another mass event where 20 people didn't survive. Who did the guy vote for? Who can we blame instead of worrying about the victims, right? I'm guilty of that, 100%, right? Oh, another event in a shopping mall. They're not talking about it. Must not be a white guy. And it's like the bodies are still warm, and I do that. And like, it's weird. Maybe it's just because like all these people can block. You had Uche yesterday pass away. You have a lot of high-profile people who are sick, and so it's like I've become maybe a little more soft on that. I just think like this kind of stuff is not helpful. Charlie Kirk does not even know if the guy was poked. He's not a doctor. He's just like spinning up the machine for likes and retweets. Now, I think I've been very clear about my position on the poke. I don't have it. But I don't care if you made the decision to get it. I don't look at you any differently. It's really none of my business. Like, it's really none of my business. And I think that, that's just been my position forever on this channel. People, I certainly think people who are old and have, several health risks, Their calculation of whether or not they want it is very different than mine. Although, you know, I've got several of my own, being overweight and so on. But I think that what I wanted to focus on is, you know, this guy is fighting for his life. Maybe we just like wait to politicize it until he comes through it, or maybe he doesn't, and then we can talk about it. It's the same thing. Like I said, I just couldn't help but feel like, God, already the guy's like literally getting CPR on the field, and there's a zillion tweets about, oh, must be the poke. I understand why people feel that way, but also we don't even know if he has it. And like, this is a human being that maybe he does have it, right? How many people do you know that got it against their will? I know several. I know people that got it because they had to keep doing their job to feed their family. And it's easy for people to say, well, I wouldn't do that. And some people did. But some people didn't have a choice. They wanted to feed their family. This is their job. They needed to get it. So they went and got the J&J because it was only one. How many people like that do you probably know? Was this guy like spouting pro-poke stuff all over Twitter and Instagram? No, he's just an athlete. So like, I think that there's a time and a place for looking at these things, and certainly it's worthwhile to discuss it and figure out what's going on. Certainly the Players Association is going to be looking at this because they forced it on the players whose bodies are their livelihoods. I just don't think this kind of stuff is helpful. Ooh, must have been the poke. Doesn't even know. Doesn't even know. I'll end on a positive note. The guy had a toy drive for his little local, his mom's daycare for toys. Okay. By the way, this is not like a super rich NFL player. He's basically on a relatively close to like a minimum contract. This was at about $10,000 last night before the incident, and is now at $4.2 million. People are good. Cincinnati Bengal fans were showing up at the hospital. Candlelight vigils for him. NFL players were showing up. People are good. Look at this. Sam Malley just donated 15 grand. I don't even know who that is. NFL player, maybe? Carpet man flooring. This is what people come together, and you know, none of this has anything to do with the poke. There'll be a time for that conversation, and I'm open to hearing all the angles of it and all the you know, the findings on it. But I just hate that it got, you know, like the guy's literally writhing on the field, or he's on the field, you know, responsiveless, and then like the top 3 trends are poke related. It's sad that we're in this place. Our leadership put us in this place, but I'm hopeful that the kid pulls through, and then we can worry about how he got there. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, make sure you leave a like on it and you subscribe for more, and we'll talk to you again real soon.